What's up, Raiders? It's Adam from raidersofthelostflicks.com. Remember, if it's a bad movie, we want to know about it. And I'm sorry this video is coming out a bit late today. If you've been keeping up with the news, there's been some pretty terrible things that happened over the weekend that really distracted me from working on YouTube videos, and I've had to take some precautions and things like that to, ensure safety. So, I'm going to do some more Dune news here, and I'm going to probably have to break this article from Screen Rant down a bit because it's a very lengthy article. It covers a lot of points. It's basically doing what my last video did. Now, also, before I get into today's article, be sure and hit the thumbs up and subscribe, but also I want to apologize for the last video. Well, I shouldn't really apologize because my last video was very thorough. It's a little over 2,000 votes at the time of the making of this video, or 2,000 views at the time of this making of this video, and there's an overwhelming amount of down votes on it. And I think a lot of that is because a lot of people just have not a lot of patience. People just are instantly bored in nanoseconds, and they click off and they don't want to watch a 10-minute long video. And if you did, you'd understand that Dune 2020 is one of the movies that I'm the most excited about. Like, if I was going to go out into the pandemic and see a movie right now, if that was the one movie I wanted to see this year, it would be that one. I'm 99.9% sure that the movie's going to be good because I love the director. I like Denis Villeneuve's art style. I love the cast. I love the art direction. The set photos I see give me a lot of promise. I want the movie to succeed. The point of my video was that there are a lot of mitigating factors that the filmmaker cannot control. You can't control the fact that there's a global pandemic. You can't control the fact that people are unemployed and people aren't really going to the movies. Those are things that the filmmaker has no control over. So I don't want those things to affect the outcome of Dune, but the fact remains is that for Dune to keep going as a franchise, it has to be a big hit. And there's a lot of things that it's up against, and that was the whole point of my video. It's not that I want any kind of failure, it's that's where it's at, and I want it to succeed. But if it fails, it's not going to be because the movie's bad. Like I said, I'm 99.9% sure that the movie will be good. That's not what the video is about. What the video was about is that it needs to make a lot of money, because that's how movies get sequels. So for those of you that watched the video, thank you. For those of you that didn't, I hope this clears things up a little bit more, but that's just the way it is. People just react to headlines. They don't read anything or watch anything, and it's a shame because that was a video that I worked very hard on, spent a lot of time making. So, but anyways, I also want to read her quote, and I asked this person for her permission before I read this online, but she says right here, Dina Price, all right, left this on my YouTube, and I don't normally read YouTube comments, but this is one that I thought was a great point to address about Dune 2020. Dina Price says, I'm not excited about this, but other people's excitement clued me into the film's existence. I'm not a huge fan of Arrival or Blade Runner 2049, but I've decided I'm going to cheer for this film to at least break even. How else will we get more films like this made? I don't want the whole genre to disappear just because a few of them are boring. A gem may be coming down the pipe, but it won't get the budget approval if everything else tanks. That's an excellent point. Science fiction is in a really bad rut right now. There's a lot of identity politics. There's a lot of everything's dystopian, everything's all about fate, and it's really violent and gory and dark, and they just want to make everything like Game of Thrones, and that's fine if you're a Game of Thrones fan, but not everything has to fit that art style, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you go through these phases where whatever the main thing is, everything has to be like that. A good example, I was just thinking about it last night, Jurassic Park came out in 1993, and then everything had to be like Jurassic Park. So then when they made a Godzilla reboot, they made the fucking monster look like a T-Rex, That kind of stupid shit, Just bad decisions based on, oh, well, X amount of people like this thing, So let's make everything like this thing. You know, it doesn't need to be that way. So we're going to cover a couple of these things from Screen Rant, and then I'll have to break it up into segments. And I apologize if this is kind of a short video today, because like I said, I don't have a lot of time. I'll do something a little bit more in depth either tomorrow or later in the week, I promise. And also, this week I do have an extra live show on Wednesday. We're doing a Nicolas Cage movie review, so we also have some of that to balance out for what I'm not doing. So this is from Screen Rant, and it's how will Villeneuve's Dune avoid Blade Runner 2049's box office failure? Now, for the record, I think I mentioned it in the last video that everybody watched, but I love Blade Runner 2049. Love that movie. Went and saw it opening day with my sister. I was just disappointed that it didn't perform as well as it did, but I think there was a lot of things against it. You know, cyberpunk is not really a popular subject. The original Blade Runner movie is a little on the depressing side, you know, and it's a sci-fi noir. Not everybody understands what noir film is, so, but for those people that do understand that, it's a beautiful movie. It's a great set of movies. But I was impressed that Denis Villeneuve, I'm highlighting the whole, Denis Villeneuve understood the source material to where that movie felt like it belonged in that universe. You know, and I thought Ryan Gosling did a pretty good job for what he needed to do for the movie. I thought that was fine. I liked that Harrison Ford showed up in it. I mean, they kind of, I wish they would have left that as a surprise, but they revealed that in the trailer, and you know, the trailers always reveal everything. So anyway, to ensure Denis Villeneuve's upcoming sci-fi movie Dune does not become a box office failure upon release in December 2020, it must avoid making the same mistakes that caused Blade Runner 2049 to flop in theaters. The French-Canadian director's two most recent projects have been in common. Both are based on critically acclaimed science fiction novels. Both are continuations of a cult property without a wide fan base, and both have huge budgets to recoup. Dune does have the advantage of a star-studded ensemble cast and an ideal release date, but there are still steps the movie's marketing must take to make certain Villeneuve's latest does not fall prey to the same fate as Blade Runner 2049. So let's get into some of this. I don't want to read every last little thing. We already know what the budget is and everything, so let's just get to the first point. Dune shouldn't be R-rated like Blade Runner 2049 was. While Blade Runner 2049's disappointing performance at the box office cannot be blamed on its R rating, it stands to reason that giving Dune as a broad an audience as possible can only help it. Though most of Denis Villeneuve's films have received R ratings, his highest grossing film to date, Arrival, a science fiction film rated PG-13, which received 8 Academy Award nominations, including those for Best Picture and Best Director. Though blockbusters like Deadpool and Joker have shown that R-rated movies can be box office hits, a lesser-known property like Dune would be better off aiming for a 15 rating or below, as to ensure maximum audience reach. Well, the original Dune was rated PG-13. The sci-fi miniseries, I think, probably falls into the PG-13 area, so I don't really have a problem if the new Dune is PG-13. I don't think it's super important, but, you know, because I don't like censorship in movies, man. I don't think that everything has to be catered towards kids. I like adult entertainment. You know what I mean? I think adults need to be treated like adults, and not everything has to be see, hey, kids, come see this movie. It doesn't always have to be geared that way, but Dune is probably something that would benefit from a PG-13 rating, so I'm not totally opposed to this idea. So David Lynch's 1984 version, it says right here, version was PG-13, so one could assume that Dune can work well without alienating younger and family audiences. Blade Runner 2049's rating also put in direct competition with blockbusters like It, American Assassin, and Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Oh, that movie was rough. Which slashed deep into movies' ticket sales. Villeneuve has made no mention of an intended rating for Dune, only teasing that this movie will be like Star Wars for adults. This could mean more explicit, mature content, but there's no way of knowing what rating it will receive until the film is screened and graded by the Motion Picture Association of America. Well, you know, if we're copying the Game of Thrones business model, it's definitely not going to be PG-13. So who knows where that's going to go? But I'm not super concerned about it. Whether it's PG-13 or rated R, I don't think is going to affect the movie in the slightest bit. Let's move on to the next point. Dune needs to be less mysterious than Blade Runner 2049. I don't feel that Blade Runner 2049 was that mysterious. In fact, if anything, I think it was more linear than the first one. Well, that's just me. Maybe I understand things better, than everybody wanted everything spelled out in that movie. I don't know. It frustrates me. Blade Runner 2049 made a mistake when it presumed the audiences were both familiar with Blade Runner and invested enough that simply selling the movie as Blade Runner sequel would suffice to get people into theaters. Well, Blade Runner is a pop icon, man. It's a cultural icon. People have seen it. People understand it. Blade Runner is very much an adult sci-fi movie. It's people that are into sci-fi know Blade Runner, and I think that was the target audience for it. It's just a shame that they didn't bother to show up for it. Distributor Alcon also proved excessively strict about keeping the plot quiet, so that even early reviewers were forbidden from sharing any specifics of the story, leaving potential moviegoers with little to go on. Likewise, the spoiler-phobic marketing for Blade Runner 2049 meant advertising was limited to flaunting the movie's admittedly stunning cinematography and big budget. However, audiences have grown distrustful of these selling points after Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets and Ghost in the Shell proved huge disappointments. I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell, but I did see Valerian. I kind of liked it. I did. I didn't hate that movie at all. Dune has already been said to be faithful to its source material, so already there's little need for its plot to be kept under wraps. That's kind of an interesting point. Yeah, Dune is not... it's been done twice. It's been done twice, and the book has been out since 1963. We don't need to reveal the ending, but you can show some of the high points. I don't think I would be too, trailers in general reveal way too much, man. It's frustrating. All right, now here's one that I mentioned here. WB movies that haven't changed release dates. At the same time, Dune needs to sell itself on more than its grand concepts and sweeping landscapes, so as to encourage audiences with no knowledge of Dune's world to see it in theaters. It is something which Mad Max Fury Road and Prometheus did incredibly well, luring in viewers unfamiliar with the Mad Max and Alien franchises by advertising the movies as more than sequels, prequels, or remakes. Dune has something Blade Runner 2049 did not. It was Ryan Gosling's first big-budget lead role, and must make great use of a highly marketable cast. Teen heartthrob Chalamet and rising superstar Zendaya will draw in younger audiences. Brolin, Bautista, Momoa, and Isaacs all have starring roles in Marvel, DC, and Star Wars movies, and thus have a broad audience appeal, while movies royalties Bardem, Skarsgård, and Charlotte Rampling lend esteem to this all-star cast, showcasing this talent and crucial to a marketing strategy that can sell a complex and conceptual sci-fi property to the mainstream market. Don't have any problem with that there. I think that can work in its favor. And Dune needs to market itself like a major December tentpole. Now, I do want Dune to be more than just a movie. I would like to see this actually become a franchise. Now, it's strange coming from me because I'm somebody that doesn't like to go out in front and say, hey, we're making a trilogy, or this is going to be a major franchise. Because how many times have you seen them try to start a franchise just to see something fall on its face in the first movie, and then it's just a big joke for the rest of time? Don't announce a franchise. Make a good movie. Have it do well enough to where more movies are made. Go the natural route. You know what I mean? I grew up in times where sequels were rare. Like, if there was a sequel to a movie, it was like a big deal. Now it's like you make a movie and they're announcing the sequel like by the time the opening box office numbers are coming in. You know, like they did with Joker. It's like, nope, this is going to be a standalone movie, Joker. And then soon as those numbers started ramping in and it crossed the billion marks, like, oh, there'll absolutely be a sequel. Like they went back on that right away, and I knew that was going to happen. You know, whereas with this one, there's a series of books, and like I said, there's a drought for good science fiction. So yeah, I would like to see this become a franchise. You know, there needs to be something to replace that feeling that, you know, Star Wars and Star Trek gave science fiction fans. And
this is the one that I think will do it. I'm very optimistic that this is what we need right now. Assuming Dune's release date goes ahead as planned, then the film will be 2020's big Christmas and New Year fantasy tentpole, a spot previously occupied by Star Wars and Lord of the Rings franchises, which clearly served them well. This already proves Dune an advantage over Blade Runner 2049's October release, but for the Dune to make the most of its release spot, it must work to sell itself as the next big new fantasy series, particularly with Star Wars now on hiatus until its next trilogy. See, right there, announcing the damn trilogy, just rather than just the next movie. How about this with Star Wars? Just make a good Star Wars movie. It doesn't have to be a trilogy. You know, everything's always chasing a franchise potential. They don't want to just make good movies. They want to make movies that can just repeat themselves over and over and over and keep making money. That's where they keep screwing up. They don't focus on the one piece of art. They keep focusing on everything as a reoccurring series, and that's where these things always fall apart. Just make one good movie first, see how it does, and then we'll see if it has some franchise potential. And before the Avatar series seizes the title of December tentpole from 2021, will it though? You want to talk about a gap between movies? Avatar. I have no interest in Avatar. I just don't. I don't totally hate the first Avatar movie, but it's not that rewatchable. It really isn't. Once again, Dune's best assets, incredibly diverse and marketable cast, selling Dune as the next big thing in an age when cinema audiences prefer the safe, established options of Disney and Marvel franchises will depend on anchoring this unknown science fiction epic by its recognizable and beloved actors. Likewise, using the film's marketing campaign to lay the foundations of the new fictional world with a character guide and trailer with sufficient exposition will do much to familiarize potential viewers with an unfamiliar property. Marketing Dune as a coming-of-age story with universal themes will also go to aid ground Dune in the familiar despite its strange premise. Giving general audiences confidence in the movie is key to selling cinema tickets, and gaining that confidence begins by letting viewers know what to expect from Dune. I think I'm going to stop it here because, like I said, I don't want this video to be too long. We'll pick up where this one left off. I'll try to get that released either later today or first thing tomorrow. I apologize that this is coming out so late, but I have very important things that I need to do for the safety of where I live, and I'll just leave it at that. So anyways, leave a comment down below. Thank you for all the new subscribers that we've gotten in the past week. It's been a huge honor to have that happen. And also thanks for the people that have been showing up to catch out Raiders of the Lost Flicks live on Fridays. We review bad movies, and what we do is we share a link to a movie that's on YouTube, and we tell you to go there and watch it with us, and it's kind of like a watch party, and then afterwards we review the movie, and we even let you vote on your own score, so make sure you're there for that. Then Tuesdays, I usually talk with the Loitering in Wonderland podcast, which I air live on my channel in video format, so that'll be Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we're going to be doing a Nicolas Cage movie. I'm going to keep it a surprise, so be there for that. I got stuff coming out all week long. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and you know what, try to have a good day. I know it's been a rough year so far, man, but you know what, you gotta focus on the things you like, and I like Dune. I like talking about Dune, and there's going to be a lot more videos on this channel about Dune, so if you like that, you're in the right spot. Okay, I share your enthusiasm. I can't emphasize that enough. Have a wonderful day. This is Adam signing out. Remember, if it's a bad movie, we want to know about it, and every time you don't subscribe, God kills a getting.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. Please remember to depress that like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you'll be the first to know when new content is published. Please visit raidersofthelostflicks.com for more hilarious entertainment and links to all of our social media platforms. Also, consider supporting us on Patreon. As little as $1 a month supports our worldwide digs for more Lost Flicks. Thank you, and have a groovy day.